Hello, my name is Swissbianco. In this video I will show how easy it is to change the scales of Swiss Army knives. For the coming blade show I did wanna upgrade a couple older Swiss Army knives, the Spartan model 91mm handle length, with all the new scales that we got in stock. So we have samples to show what all is around, and because we set up our web store the way we did, you can also select single scales. So in case you only need to replace a back scale or a front, you can do that, as well as also mix and match the colors, which we're gonna do today here as well. Basically I did wanna use as few of the Swiss Army knives and display all the colors that we got. These colors are only in Celidor. The nylon section is a different matter, so that's gonna follow up later. I just simply gonna dress up these 5 basically red color worn scales with brand new ones, the plus variant as best possible. So what we do first is take out the smaller tools, the toothpick and the tweezer. I put them already out and checked that they are pretty clean. Then we start to take off the scale. What I'm gonna use is the Victorinox factory tool that was featured in a video itself. So basically you're gonna go in here, forming a little bit a gap between the scale and the liner. You wanna go towards this side here where the material is more solid. You don't wanna go to the other side here, as the scale are thinner here. It's gonna be litter anyhow. Once you remove the scales, they can't be reused to factory specifications, so it's just simple easier to take it off that way here. So you push a blade or a similar item that is not sharp into the gap as this, and then you simply wiggle a bit and you already feel it. That was the first sound it makes as the scale pops off the rivet. Then you go further, wiggle again just slightly, and then it already goes off. So this one here already teach us a bit about history of Victorinox. We have here an older version of the scale. On top I put on the brand new version. We see the older ones are way more solid than the newer ones. They used way more plastic, synthetic material in the older ones than the new ones. That doesn't matter for us for using the knife. It's just for history purpose that shows the difference. From outside you would hardly see it. Of course this one is used, but from outside you have a hard time see that. So that is just a nice side note. As we already did hear the sound here first time, then here, and we see the plastic that was around the rivet head did break off the scale, so those scales are litter. We cannot use that anymore like this up to factory specifications. So what we gonna take off, of course, as well is the plastic rim. Sometimes the scales, the aluminum scales, are not as nice as this one. I quick wipe it a bit down. That's basically all what it needs. It's in a nice condition. Then we have the second side. We remove the scale in the same fashion. We go in the gap between the scale and the liner. So sometimes it needs a bit wiggling to get in there, and I have to reach around the camera, so that's a different matter here altogether. Then we wiggle, so that was the first rivet. We go to the middle one, and there it already came, both of them. Here we see again the solid scale with the data in it and the mold number. That was mold number 2. We see the rivets. We have still a bit. Red plastic. The rim needs to be completely clean. You need to have everything removed around the rim. There, that space is needed that the new scale can grab onto. The knives I did already clean before, so they are pretty good. They are resharpened and all that. So the first we did. The others are really the same. You switch it in, you simply pop it off. You need to be careful that you don't harm yourself, so if you don't work too much with your hands, ask around. I'm sure you find somebody like a gunsmith or a armorer that can do it for you. Here we have a mess on the scale. That mess we want to remove, because if we use a clear see-through scale and even with a solid scale, we wanna clean up the mess. Somebody was not taking too well care of the knife. We see that a lot. People that don't collect the knife or take too much responsibility in life in general. They rather get rough on the things. So, but this is not the baddest example. The worst example were always as the people in Switzerland drop it in a sweet tea or something like that, then or in a Sprite or Coke or whatever, something with a lot of sugar in it, that did mess up the spring action really bad. And then you had to somehow clean it out. Really a problem with Swiss Army knives, as you can't pretty much disassemble them. So that is the worst you can do, is drop the Swiss Army knife somewhere in a sugary, watery mess. I just go a bit ahead and do that. I'm not gonna overly hurry. I'm just doing it as I would do it anyhow. So you see how easy it is, even as I reach around the camera. Those knives are in a surprisingly good condition. Sometimes it's always a bit a gamble what we get used. What we get used on knives. So that's the last one. Also nice condition. A bit cleaning, rubbing off with a paper is all what it needs. So now we have the bodies here. That one we don't need anymore. We need some kind of little vise. You can also put it with pliers on, but I like the vise because we can adjust the tension. This I just got for the shows. That is well enough for mounted. Usually I use a different device, but that works for demo as well. Important, you need to pad the clamping area because the scales, the celly door is gonna scratch relative easy. So the first knife we're gonna do in yellow front. Basically the rivets come over the hole like this. We can already press it on a little bit by hand, and yes, it is that simple. So I always take out the screwdriver or corkscrew a bit. Then we go in the vise. First, doesn't matter which side you start clamping on, basically you need to get rid of the gap here. We see the yellow one is already pretty good on, but the black one has a bit of gap, so we simply press it on. Then we move on to the middle section, clamp as well. Needs a bit feeling in your hand. The scale should not be over pressed, over clamped, so it needs a bit of feeling to do that. That's the only thing, you should not over clamp it. The knife action itself could get hurt as well. Then we check that all the gaps between the scales and the aluminum liner are gone all the way around. We see here is still a little gap, and here as well, so it needs a little bit more. So yes, now it's gone. Hope the camera see that. So we have yellow in the front and black plus scales for the little pen and the pin in the back. First one is already done. Now second one gonna be red in front, white in the back. I just did select the colors how I did feel like it. You of course can select whatever colors you would like to have. Maybe there is a sport team that has the favorite color that you like as well. So if we have the color of the scale, then you can do that. It's a bit easier on the workbench to clamp them in the vise. It depends. Sometimes you need to clamp in the middle as well, sometimes not. Those scales are flexible, and it depends also the size of the rivet head of the rim. Goal is always that the scale are completely flush with the silver, with the ALOX liner. So that's the main goal which we reached here as well. Next one is in silver and translucent blue on the back, silver test scales. those getting more and more rare. I did this one, I did go too much back. I should go a bit different. So now it is better. Yeah. Sometimes also the split ring can be a bit in the way. So sometimes it's easier if you remove the split ring that you can reach all the points. So that's how this one looks like it. Here we still have a little bit of gap, just a tiny. Yeah, now it's good. Next one we have blue in front and red translucent in the back. Once you get the hang of it, it's absolute simple and easy, and the main thing, the main problem with Swiss Army knives are basically the Celidor scales. They scratch really easy. They scratch really easy, so what a knife would be still pretty good quality wise of the knife itself, the blades and all, but the scale look horrible. That is the main matter of the items. So it's easy to replace the scales like this and have like a brand new knife again. That will make you happy and looks nice. So the last one was black translucent in front and green, hunter's green in the back. It may look a bit black on the camera. This is basically like pretty much similar to the patch green, a little bit darker, but more shiny. So yeah, that much on that. Then now I need to put in back the toothpick and tweezer and the pen and the pin I did already prepare. And then we have nice unique looking knives for the exhibition, that the people see what we have for a number of scales. And as I say, you can mix and match pretty much what you want on these to create unique Swiss Army knives that fits your wishes. That much about scale replacement on the 91mm Swiss Army knife.